Yes, I'm creating this game with just 24 hours on the clock. Within that time, I still have to manage eating, sleeping, pooping, and all the other everyday stuff, while being extremely careful not to waste time on unnecessary things, because in a challenge like this, every second counts. If you want to try the game yourself, the link is in the description. It's completely free to play, so please give it a try. I would really appreciate it. Now come with me and let's see if I can pull this off in just 24 hours. Right now, it's 5 in the evening on Monday. So the clock is ticking. I have until 5 in the evening on Tuesday. I have never taken on a challenge like this before. I'm really excited, but at the same time a little scared too. Anyway, the first thing I did is started designing the game and defining the scope, keeping the tight time limit in mind. The core idea is pretty simple. You are a cannon that shoots projectiles, and every time you fire, the recoil pushes you in the opposite direction. So shooting doesn't just attack enemies, it also becomes your main way of moving around the world. And of course, the same projectiles you fire can also be used to damage enemies. With the basic idea in place, the next thing I need is a name for the game. Let's see. It fires projectiles and pushes you in the opposite direction. So, recoil. But recoil alone doesn't feel like enough. We are causing chaos too. So, maybe something like rumble? Yeah, Recoil Rumble. That's actually sounds good enough. Yeah, leave it. With the basic idea ready, let's jump into Unity and create a new 2D project, which alone took about 5 minutes to complete. Once the project finished loading, I immediately started working on the basic player script. At the same time, I quickly created the player graphics using simple 2D shapes. For now, I just want to make sure the input works. So when I press the left mouse button, it simply prints a log that says shooting. Nice, that means the input is working. I will also expand this later so the spacebar can trigger shooting as well. Since the input is working perfectly, it's time to make the player actually shoot something. Balls. Yeah, 2D balls. I mean, what else were you expecting? Now the projectiles need to actually push the player back. So I went ahead and implemented the recoil mechanic. And it works perfectly fine on the first try itself. It works on the first try itself. Yay! Yeah. Next, I made the player point the cannon towards the mouse pointer. With that, you can now not only aim and shoot, but also move around using the recoil. So the player is almost ready. The only problem is that the movement feels a bit too sensitive and hard to control. To fix that, I tweaked a few physics parameters in Unity, and there we go. It feels much better now. Then I took a moment to organize the things still left to do. At this point, there are just too many things going on in my mind, and it's getting really distracting. So writing everything down helped me focus on the current task instead of constantly trying to manage everything inside my tiny brain. Next, I need the camera to follow the player. So I used Unity's Cinemacine package for 2D, which gives really nice camera movement without much effort. Now the camera smoothly pans along with the player, and it gives a much better sense of movement. Then I created a damage system so the player can actually take damage and lose. As you can see here, if an object that can deal damage touches the player, it applies a certain amount of damage. Right now it's just printing damage logs, but soon I will connect this to a health system to make it complete. Enemy AI. Yeah, this is the most time-consuming feature I implemented. To build enemies quickly, I decided to combine two simple traits: movement type and weapon type. I finalized 3 movement types and 2 weapon types, which means I can create 6 different enemy combinations. So the enemies are stationary melee, moving melee, airborne melee. Yeah, these ones can actually fly. 4th, stationary cannon, moving cannon, and finally, airborne cannon. And honestly, these 6 enemies should be enough to build around 5 levels, which means there will be a reasonable amount of gameplay. With the enemies ready to attack, it's time to quickly implement the health system so the player and enemies can kill each other mercilessly. Yeah. So I created this health bar that shows how much health the player has left or how much damage has been taken. If the player takes damage, the number at the bar both shrinks. And now when I shoot the enemies, they can actually die. Yeah, awesome. With the core gameplay loop starting to come together, I should start making the game feel a bit better. So I started by implementing some sound effects. Since I'm under a serious time crunch, I will just quickly copy my sound manager script from Mergegun. Wait, how can I steal my own code? Anyway, I quickly downloaded some free sound effects, trimmed and cleaned them up so they are usable in the game. Then I added those sounds into the game, and here's the result. Good enough, this will do. I don't really have time to add sound variations, so this is what we are going with. Next, I worked on some UI. I created a basic home screen along with a level selection screen. I also want to set it up so that when you clear a level, the next one gets automatically unlocked. In the gameplay scene, I added a pause menu, a game over screen, and a level clear screen. With that, I think all the basic UI requirements are done. It's around 4:52 AM, and with that, half the time is already gone. There are still a lot of features left to implement, but I'm really tired right now, so I'm going to get a few hours of sleep and then come back and continue. Fuck my life. It's currently 10:55 AM, I got a few hours of sleep, and now I am fully recharged to get back to the game. Hell man, I don't want to do this. I've only got 6 hours left to go, so to wake up my half-conscious body, I implemented some background music and also added some sound effects to the buttons I created earlier. Right now, the background music is a bit too loud, but I will fix that later during the balancing phase at the end. With that out of the way, I need to implement a save system so that when you clear a level, your progress is saved locally. And so that you will not come after my live after clearing a level and then going crazy because you lost all your progress. So when you start the game, all the levels are locked except the first one. And when you clear a level by reaching this weird green square thingy, the level gets completed and the next one unlocks. Pretty basic stuff that almost every game has. Next, I made a small fix to the player's fire rate, so you can't just break the game by spamming the mouse button and creating unlimited projectiles. Then, I worked on some visual effects, things like muzzle flash when firing and blood splatter when taking damage. I know it doesn't look amazing, not good also, but they will get the job done for now. Please give me some leeway. Right now, the game looks pretty low quality and a bit boring. Well, of course it does. It's being made in a single day. Idiot. Still, to make it look a bit better, I added some post-processing to make the visuals pop more. And honestly, it looks much better than having nothing at all. There are only 3 hours left, and I don't know why the idiot in me decided to add one more feature instead of designing levels. Anyway, I went ahead and added a high score system that keeps increasing as you kill more enemies. With this, the player now has one more progression system instead of just unlocking and clearing levels. Only 2 hours left, I really need to pick up the pace for the final stretch. So I quickly designed a few levels and started putting them into the game one by one. I placed some enemies around, connected the levels to the UI, and hooked them into the save system. With only a few minutes left, I quickly created an app icon for the game and built the final version. And with that, all the tasks are finally done. That was really hectic. It's kind of nostalgic because it reminds me of the time when I used to study just one night before my exams and somehow pass them. Well, everything is done, but I didn't get any time to properly test the game. I was just hoping everything would be fine during testing. And magically, I don't even know how, but it worked. Yeah, even though it still lacks some balancing, surprisingly, it doesn't have any noteworthy bugs. I'm really happy with how it turned out. If you want to play the game, again, the link is in the description. Go ahead and check it out. It's completely free. Also, I haven't made any changes since the first build, so what you play is exactly the game that was made within those 24 hours. Tell me in the comments if you like the game or not, and if you want more such content, then show me some support. You know what to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.